Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mimic TCG, and today we are doing a Pauper deck. This is kind of fun. I've never played Pauper before. I've had a little look recently. It looks like it's on the up and up because it's a budget format, right? But not only is it budget, there's budget within budget, okay? And that's what we're looking at today. And recently it had its own tournament, didn't it? Was it the Magic Challenger? I think it was. And what I've been looking at for a lot of on MTG top 8, a lot of the top 8 decks, there's no one set dominant deck or two. It changes, chops and changes. Homebrew seem to do quite well. So what I've done is, having never played Pauper and having never played Modern, I played a couple of games of Modern, tell a lie. But having never really got into Modern or Pauper, I thought I've always been interested in Tron, and I really like Eldrazi. So let's have a look and see if we can build a Pauper Eldrazi Tron deck. And that's what we've done. We've built one. We're hoping it's going to be quite competitive. We don't really know. I mean, the payout, the win cons are top notch. They're pretty good. But we'll just go quickly through the mana base. We're running 22 lands. I don't know if that's right or wrong. Again, like I said, new to Pauper, just playing around. Going to do quite a few experimental decks. Maybe play some decks from some of the top 8 lists. But so anyway, right, we've got one Haunted Fengraf. This is taps for 1 colorless mana. Pay 3, sack it to return a creature card at random from our graveyard to our hand. Now that's in there because there's a lot of burn, a lot of removal, and we're quite reliant on some of our creatures, obviously, to win win matches. So it's just in there late game, or say there was a board wipe or something. So we've got a bit of recursion to keep us in the matches, because we are going to struggle against aggro decks and burn decks. So if we've got threats on the board, or we can bring threats back, great, we're good, we're set. We're running 2 Holdout Settlement, and I wanted those up there, and 2 Unknown Shores. My reason for running Holdout Settlement, it's a bit, maybe should be running more Unknown Shores or more tapped coloured lands. It seems we're kind of colour heavy in places, but I'm running the Holdout Settlements because I'm hoping that we can get Sky Spawner and Hatcher on board, and we can generate quite a few Scions. So we can tap our Scion and tap Holdout Settlement to create 1 coloured mana, okay, and then sack said Scion. So we've then got 1 colourless and 1 coloured mana. That's my plan, right? I don't know if that's going to work overly well. We'll see, okay? That might come out. We're running 1 Remote Island. Maybe I should run more of these. I don't really know. But it enters tapped, so boo, that's not great. However, we've got cycling on it, so that's the main reason it's in there. Late game, draw that. Oh, I don't want to top deck a land, so cycle it, okay? Simple as. It's also, produces blue. We need blue, especially for the sideboard. You'll see later. Also for our merge cost, which we'll get into that. So coloured lands, all the tap lands, obviously. We've got 2 Swiftwater Cliffs. So it gains us a life. That's going to be quite useful against sort of burn and aggro decks. Decks where we're taking beats to the face and need to stay in the game just a little bit longer. And then we've got 2 Thornwood Falls. Again, same principle. 2 Unknown Shores. I didn't cover that. I talked about it and then I didn't cover it. Anyway, so again, this is a pay 1, and we can tap for any mana, any colour of mana. Self-explanatory, really. Yeah, it will give us the coloured mana that we need for the spells that we have that require mana. And then obviously, it's a Tron deck. We're running all of the Tron lands. 4 Urza's Mine, 4 Urza's Power Plant, and 4 Urza's Tower. Self-explanatory. Get them all on board. 1 of each of them on board even, and that's 7 mana. So Yeah, that's quite simple. So we've got the 1-drops in the 1-drop slot. 4 Ancient Stirrings. This lets us, cycle for cards that we need, whether that's some missing lands, chromatic stars, or expedition maps, or even our creatures. All our creatures, apart from Emrakul's Hatcher, are colourless. So yeah, self-explanatory. 1 mana, digs into our deck a little bit, gets us what we need. Now, most Tron decks come with a very nice package of artifacts. We have got 4 Chromatic Sphere, 4 Chromatic Star, which both basically do the same thing. They cost 1, you pay 1 to sack it, and add 1 mana of any colour to draw. That's a Chromatic Sphere. Chromatic Star is essentially the same thing, apart from when it's put into your graveyard from the battlefield. So we don't even have to sack that. If someone blows it up and puts it in the graveyard, we still get that. Sphere, however, obviously, the drawing a card comes with the cost of paying 1 and tapping, so it's slightly different. The principle is it's the same principle, okay? Deal with it. Expedition map, 4 expedition map. Most Tron decks are running 4 expedition maps. So cost 1, we pay 2, tap it, we sack it, and we search our library for a land card. That's not basic land. We haven't got any basic lands anyway, but a land card of any kind. So that can dig us our 3rd Tron piece if we need, or a coloured piece of mana if we need. That's what that's for. Prophetic Prism is basically a worse version of... Actually, no, it's not a worse version of Chromatic Star and Chromatic Sphere. It's a more expensive and slightly different version of it. It costs 2 to enter. We draw a card when it enters the battlefield, and we again pay 1 and tap to add 1 mana of any colour. However, we don't have to sack it to add that mana, so again, it's just on the board all the time, and we do get the card draw from it. That's in our 2-drops. We've got Seek the Wilds, 2 of. I can see an argument for more, but again, it's basically doing the same thing our Ancient Stirrings is, but it just costs 2 mana. And it can be land or creature, whereas Ancient Stirrings can dig us, artifacts if needs be. And obviously, Seek the Wilds is 1. We look at 1 less card, but it's fine. It's just in there for extra card draw essentially, and filtering. We've got a 1 of Fling, instant speed, sack a creature. We deal damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to any target. So that's someone's face. That is someone's creature. That's a planeswalker. There aren't planeswalkers in Pauper, so don't worry about that. But you could if this was a lot. Can't get my words out. If you were playing Fling in Modern or something. Okay, so on to our 4-drops. Oh, 3-drops, sorry. Not 4-drops. Our 3-drops, and we're just running 4 Eldrazi Sky Spawners. A 2/1 flyer for 3 mana that also produces Scion is pretty good. No complaints from me. It does what it says on the tin, basically. It's a blocker. It can get in for damage. It creates us a Scion, lets us ramp a little bit quicker. Because what we want, really, is to play Ulamog's Crusher on turn 3. Wait, we can't do that. Scratch that. I just thought, we can't do that. We'll get 7 mana, but turn 3 we'll probably be paying. Ignore me. I did math bad. Ulamog's Crusher on turn 4, so we probably, getting that Scion out helps. Wow, math. Ugh, did bad math. Right, so next creatures, we're jumping up from 3 drops to 5 drops, running 4 Emrakul's Hatches. This guy's a 3/3 for 5, which is trash. It's really bad, but it does create us 3/0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens, which do the same as these creature Scions, but they're 0/1. Sack them, create a colorless mana. Again, it's trying to make this theme to Eldrazi, so we're playing as many Eldrazi as possible. So again, it has another use. It's a blocker. It gives us a little bit of ramp that we might need, and also both of these creatures are perfect for emerging into Wretched Gryff, which you'd think, oh, a 7-drop for a 3/4 flyer. No thanks. However, we can emerge it for 6. Oh, that's looking a little bit better. We can sack a creature and reduce that cost by the converted mana cost of our sacked creature. So if we sack Emrakul's Hatcher to Wretched Gryff, Wretched Gryff costs us 1 blue to cast for a 3/4 flyer, and when we cast it, we get to draw a card. So thank you very much. That's very good. We'll take that. Wretched Gryff's one of my all-time favourites, but it was one of my favourite Eldrazi cards, Emerge cards anyway. Just to have played in decks. It's 3/4 flyer for what could be 1 or 2 mana that lets you draw a card is great. And then on to our win conditions. We have 2 possible options for hopefully closing out the game for a win. The first of which is our big bad Eldrazi, Ulamog's Crusher, 8 mana for an 8/8 with Annihilator 2, and he has to attack each combat. So Annihilator is when you attack, your opponent has to sacrifice permanents equal to the Annihilator cost. So they can sack lands to this. So Annihilator 2, every time Ulamog's Crusher attacks, our opponent would have to sacrifice 2 permanents. There's Annihilator 1, I think there's like Annihilator 4 somewhere. Yeah, no, so that's good. It's an 8/8 anyway, which is huge. However, the one downside is it hasn't got trample, and I haven't got anything in here to give it trample, which maybe I want. Maybe that I could probably easily make room for it. Maybe I'm focused too much on a traditional Tron package, trying to ramp as quickly as possible, where maybe Pauper's a quicker format than I'm thinking it is. We'll soon find out. But right, anyway, Ulamog's Crusher, 8/8. One of our win cons. Our next win con is Rolling Thunder, 2 red and X. Rolling Thunder deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. So it's a worse Banefire, basically. Only because it's costing 2 red. However, this enables us to wipe the board, blow up someone's big mean creature, or burn to the face, which is a playstyle I quite like doing. I'm not a huge fan of burning lots of little spells to the face. I find burn decks. I don't enjoy playing against burn decks. No one does. I don't mind playing a burn deck. I've been playing Rakdos Burn in Modern, but it gets kind of boring. There's not much interaction. I don't think they're overly fun decks. Yes, they're competitive and they win a lot of games. Personally, don't enjoy them. I much prefer playing a more controlling game and playing big threats and then offering a big face burn for the win. So I like Banefire in Standard at the moment. Rolling Thunder works for me in Pauper. Perfect. So there are 2 win cons. 3 Ulamog's Crusher, 2 Rolling Thunder. Feels like enough. Feel confident we've got enough creatures to act as blockers and rampers to keep us alive long enough to drop one of these threats. And add in a bit of damage so we can burn in for a big Rolling Thunder for the win, which I'll be super pleased if I can do that. I'll be very happy. On to the sideboard. This for me was quite difficult to piece together. Mainly because, like I said, I haven't played Pauper before. I've just looked at some decks. I'm not really sure what I need to be aware of, what I need to worry about, what's going to absolutely destroy Tron, or even how strong Eldrazi Tron is in this format. I know not regular Tron, but the other Tron builds that I've looked at for Pauper seem to do quite well, but they're running a completely different package to me, like creature-wise and spell-wise. However, most of them, I've noticed, do run 4 Muldrifter in the main board. So I've put 4 Muldrifter in the sideboard. I can't remember what Evoke does, though. Oh man, I'll have to look that up. But, right, okay, so it's 5 mana for a 2/2 flyer, which is pants, really pants. But let's just draw 2 cards, and I'm pretty sure Evoke does something good. I'm going to quickly Google this. Let me just Google what Evoke does. Reaching for phone. Okay. I'll let you know. Because I'm sure it does something useful. Because there's probably better ways to draw 2 cards. Evoke rule. Here we go. I said evoke, not evolve. Why is it autocorrect? Autocorrect. You. Oh, okay. Evoke. Creatures with Evoke have either a come into play ability or lose play ability. This ability was staple in the Lorwyn block. That's not what I'm looking for. Oh, here we go. Right. Evoke is a keyword ability that allows a player to play an alternate cost for a creature spell that possesses this ability. However, if the evoke cost is paid, the creature is sacrificed when it comes into play. Oh, okay. There we go. We're probably playing Moldrifter as a three cost draw 2 cards, basically, aren't we? I think that's what people are going to be running Moldrifter for. Yeah. Yep, I'm going to guess that's what people are doing. Okay, so that's in the sideboard. I'm now thinking that should have been in the main board. I've already started the Pauper League, so I can't change it now. Whoops. Okay, anyway, learning curve, guys. Learning curve. We'll change the deck around if needs be later. Okay, so that's that. Running 2 Dispel for counter target Interspell, partly for maybe putting in against control decks who are going to counter our Ulamog's Crusher or Rolling Thunders. Also for cancelling some burn spells, maybe. I'm thinking because we want to stop as much burn as possible. My plan would be, if I need to bring in Dispel, I'm taking out 2 Seek the Wilds for Dispel. That would be my plan, depending on what I'm up against. So 2 Electrickery, partly for Boggles. Boggles looks mean, so Overload doesn't target, I don't think. It's just each creature you don't control. So that's what that's in there for. So Electrickery is 1 red, deals 1 damage to target creature you don't control. However, Overload cost will be Electrickery deals 1 damage to each. So we can use that for Boggles. Also some maybe that's token decks and stuff we need to deal with. Okay, Lightning Axe. As additional cost to pay this, discard a card or pay 5. Either's going to be okay, I think. I imagine we could quite happily pay the 5 if needs be in a ramp package. Obviously, prefer not to, but again, it's going to take care of a big threat because it deals 5 damage to target creature. I've got some Ancient Grudges because artifacts seem quite important in Pauper, especially Affinity. I'm guessing I've seen, I've taken pieces from a few sideboards I've seen and made this sideboard package. So Ancient Grudge for anything that's running heavy artifacts or especially Affinity. It's also got flashback, so we can do it twice, and it's just a destroy target artifact. Nice and simple, that one. I've got 2 Moments Piece in here. Moments Piece also has flashback. For green and colourless, we can prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. That's more for aggro packages that we're against. Keep us alive that little bit longer until we can get threats on the board. Also, if someone taps out, thinking they can win, we can drop that maybe. I don't know. This everything's situational, isn't it? But that's why Moments Piece is in there. I've got a Fangren Marauder in here. I was looking at quite an interesting Tron deck called Tron Artifacts, or Artifact Tron. And Fangren Marauder was in the main board. Multiple copies of 6-drop for a 5/5, reasonable. However, when an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may gain 5 life. And that's not just artifacts I control. So again, this is going to come in against artifact heavy decks, namely Affinity, because we can gain some life, and also for again burn or aggro packages. I want aggro packages decks, burn and aggro decks where we're suffering heavily to damage and just getting killed before we can do anything. Bring in Fangren Marauder because I've got 12 artifacts that I can sacrifice, so I should at least be able to gain some life from that. I mean, it's a bit of a long shot, I guess, to get that to work, but again, you know, having a big 5/5 throughout the board is good. And then 2 Relic of Progenitus, because there's bound to be some kind of Delver deck, and also extra bit of card draw. So there's some like zombie decks and stuff. As obviously Delver, I'm sure I've seen Delver in Pauper. You know, again, Relic of Progenitus, just a decent sideboard option in a lot of, well, I say a lot of formats, in what I've seen Pauper sideboards and also in modern sideboards. So that is the sideboard for Pauper Eldrazi Tron. Again, going to play around. If you have suggestions, let me know. I'm always keen for trying out new things, listening to what people have to say. Because again, if you play Pauper loads and you're like, that's trash, you need to change this and it'll be better, let me know and I'll give it a go, give you a shout out. It's all good. Yeah, so this deck, the great thing about this deck is it's what, $12 or 12 tickets, so online, so it's $12 give or take. Paper format, I'm not sure, it's still quite budget. I think the most expensive things in the paper are your Chromatic Spheres and Chromatic Stars and Expedition maps. Everything else is super budget, and you could probably quite happily make a Pauper Tron deck without these in. I'm pretty sure I've seen some. So yeah, that's the deck. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, give it a little thumbs up. That'll help. If you didn't like it, you know, you could put thumbs down, but I'd rather you didn't. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what can be better. So anyway, yeah, we're doing a Pauper League. Already started that. I'm gonna whack that up. So check that out. See how well the deck does. And no spoilers. Yeah, thanks for tuning in.